Hey guys, wanted to record a video with my observations on trim and position hold and rudder input, that kind of thing. So I got a recording here with the controls indicator pulled up. Let me turn those off. Let me bring up my on-screen HUD. Let me pick this thing up. Oh, actually, before I do that, I wanted to point out that typically the SCAS is exaggerating your moves. So if I give my stick a little bit of forward input, you'll see the green plus extends beyond what my input is, and then it slowly comes back to where my actual input is. Then when I release, it does the reverse. In this case, it was oversaturated, kind of annoying. But basically, it's always going to exaggerate your moves and then settle back in. If you are holding down the force trim release, it basically doesn't exaggerate your moves. And any movements you make to your controls, the SCAS is not going to fight you and try and either second guess or assist or whatever you want to call it. So as long as you're holding down force trim release, which is the up position on the trim hat, you're not going to have an issue with it fighting you. However, flying the helicopter in this mode without the assist is something that I'm not used to doing, so it handles very differently. And I get myself in trouble if I hold down the force trim release and try and fly for an extended period of time, just because I'm not used to it. I'm sure those of you that have learned how to fly the helicopter using force trim release in a hold type function, pressing and holding it, are probably used to that and don't have the same kind of issues I do. So I'm going to release that and going to actually reset my trim. Okay, so let me pick the helicopter up. Didn't have enough left pedal as I was increasing the collective, so I ended up yawing to the right a little bit. So get that kind of settled down. I'm gonna trim and then position hold. Hands off the stick. Helicopter comes in to settle. And now it's going to hold me in a hover. Let me bring up these controls again. Let me get rid of my HUD. So you can see where the position of my cyclic is, that the SCAS has added a little bit left cyclic to my current position. So there's a little bit of tension happening here between where I trimmed the aircraft and where the SCAS is assisting to keep the helicopter in the same position over ground. Same thing with pedals. The green line is roughly right on my white diamond, so it's not like the helicopter, the SCAS is trying to compensate a whole lot with my current position. So if I try and yaw to the left, give a little bit of left pedal, you see originally the green line jumped ahead of me, tried to exaggerate my input, like I showed you when we were on the ground, but then it realized that it needed to be doing the opposite of what I was doing to hold the position that we told it to hold. So let me do that again. I'm going to give it a little bit of left pedal. Now it's giving a lot of right pedal to take me back to the hold position. Let me give it a little bit more left pedal. Haven't quite broken out of it yet, but at one point here soon, I'm going to give it a little bit of left pedal, and that's more than it's going to compensate for. I'm going to start drifting to the left. Now if I want to stop it, release a little bit of that pressure on the pedal, and now it's going to center up and hold that position. So this is easy to do if you're trying to make rather wide changes in heading, 90 degrees in that case. If I wanted to bring the nose over to the right and stop it where that truck is on the grass, give it a little bit of right pedal, a little bit more, until it breaks free. It's going to follow around, left pedal. It decides that's the new spot that it's going to hold. I haven't even touched the cyclic the whole time. Now, if I wanted to make a super minor adjustment, you're not going to be able to do that while attitude hold is activated, because it's going to fight you for that little tiny adjustment. But you can tell it to retrim in the new position. So if I give it a little bit of right pedal and then trim, it's going to take that as my new desired heading and then adjust to that. So a little bit of right pedal, trim. Oop, I hit the wrong button. A little bit of right pedal, trim. So for a small adjustment, use the trim function to retrim the helicopter in the new position. Then that's the position that it's going to hold in the attitude hold mode. So again, if I want to go back to the truck, a little bit of left pedal, trim. Overshot a little bit, but you get the idea. So as soon as you break out, I'm giving it some right pedal, continuous, a little more right pedal. Now it's going to let me go, and then a little left pedal to recenter, heading down the runway. So I hope that explains at least what I'm experiencing with it and how I deal with hover, hold, and trim and positions with yaw. And I'm not seeing a whole lot of bouncing around unless you're doing minor adjustments. If I go right pedal, left pedal to compensate, back to right, yeah, it's going to get out of control. But make slow, deliberate movements, let it settle. If you're going to try and break out, you got to give enough input to break out, and then when you want it to go back, give it enough reverse for it to close up the gap and be able to hold that new attitude. Alright, hope that helps.